Today you will learn how to solve quadratic equations by taking the square root. But first of all, we need to know how to find the square roots of perfect squares or numbers, period. By definition, a number which, when multiplied by itself, results in another number is the square root. It can be written as 5 squared is equal to 25, where 5 is the square root and 25 is the square. So the square root of 25 is 5, and we can write it as the symbol, the square root of 25 is equal to 5. 5 times 5 equals 25, and negative 5 times negative 5 is also 25. Solving quadratic equations by taking the square root has to be in the form of x squared plus c is equal to 0, where c is a real number and a is also a real number. So if we have the equation x squared is equal to 36, we already have it where the variable is on the left and the constant is on the right. Step 2, you want to take the square root of both sides of the equation. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. So we end up with the square root of x squared is equal to plus or minus the square root of 36. So therefore, we can't forget the negative root. So our roots or our solutions for this equation would be x is equal to plus or negative 6, which can be written that way, or we can write it as a solution set with them broken up where x is 6 or x is negative 6. So let's solve x squared minus 121 equals 0. So the first thing you want to do is you want to set x squared equal to some number. So we're going to add 121 to both sides. X squared is equal to 121. Take the square root of both sides, so we're looking for two numbers that when multiplied together gives us 121. So it could be negative or it can be a positive number. So the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 121 is plus or negative 11. So we write it as a solution set, 11 comma negative 11. If we now have a coefficient of x squared, negative 3, we have to solve this one in another way. So to solve negative 3x squared equals negative 75, we want to first divide both sides by negative 3, which results x squared is equal to 25. So now we want to know what x is. We're looking for two numbers that when multiplied together gives us 25, and those two numbers are exactly the same numbers. So we're going to take the square root of x squared on both sides, and our solutions would end up to be x is equal to plus or negative 5, and we can rewrite it as 5 comma negative 5 in set notation. Solve 2x squared minus 72 equals 0. So we need to get negative 72 to the right, so we're going to add 72 to both sides, which results in 2x squared equals 72. Divide both sides by 2, so x squared is equal to 36. Take the square root of both sides, and we end up with x is equal to plus or negative 6, or we can rewrite it as 6 comma negative 6. To solve negative 5x squared plus 80 equals 0, we first want to get the positive 80 to the right. So we're going to do the opposite of adding 80, which would be to subtract 80 from both sides. Negative 5x squared is equal to negative 80. Divide both sides by negative 5. X squared is equal to 16. Take the square root of both sides. So we end up with the square root of x squared being 4 or negative 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Negative 4 times negative 4 is also. Sometimes you're not able to find a solution to a quadratic equation. So we say that we will have no real solution, or we'll also have what is known as an empty set. So we can write it this way, or we can write it with a 0 and a line through the 0. So here we have negative 4x squared minus 36 is equal to 0. Start solving for x by adding 36 to both sides. The resulting equation is negative 4x squared equals to 36. Divide both sides by negative 4. X squared is equal to negative 9. Take the square root of both sides. So if I take the square root of a negative number, I'm looking for two of the same exact numbers that when multiplied together gives me negative 9. That's not possible. A negative times a positive is a negative, but those two numbers either are both negative or both positive. So therefore, we have no real solution, and we can rewrite it as an empty set or with a line through a 0. Here we have x squared plus 121 equals 0. Subtract 121 from both sides. X squared is equal to negative 121. Take the square root of both sides, but is it possible to take the square root of a negative number? No. I'm looking for two of the same things that when multiplied together gives me negative 121. That's not possible because one number has to be negative and the other one has to be positive. So therefore we have no real solution, and we can rewrite it as an empty set, which is the first way we can write a solution, or an empty set. Go to Focus or Teams to complete the assignment. Please make sure you go and you re-look at this video and look at how these equations are solved. And then, here again, go to Focus or Teams to complete the assignment and make sure you submit it. Have a good day.